Friends and family, welcome to the Fusion Power Podcast. I am your host, Jared Gillespie, one of the owners and CSO here at Fusion Power. Today, we're going to be talking about excellence in sales operations, an important topic that makes or breaks the sales experience and leads directly into the operations of the business and of the solar install. We're going to be talking with our sales operations manager, Nate Hart, today. Make sure that you tune in. This is going to be an episode that you do not want to miss. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. We got an awesome episode for you today. If you've ever been a part of Fusion Power, whether you're a sales dealer or a direct rep, one of the things that we try to provide for all of our sales partners is fast install times. And what's even more important than that is fast PTO times. These are both extremely important in our industry, especially in the climate that we're in right now. Obviously, on the sales side, you want to have fast install times because that's how you get paid the fastest, right? We're all out there hustling and grinding and trying to make a living. And so we need to have those jobs done quick. There's a whole other side to the need for speed in this game, not just to make sure that our sales reps are happy and well fed, but it's for the health of the business and obviously for the happiness and the satisfaction of the customer. In today's climate, we are dealing with lenders who have lost literally millions of dollars in unfunded accounts due to long timelines. And so we've gotten to a point now where lenders are no longer paying M1 payments. And what that means to an installer is if you don't have any cash flow and you have to float hundreds of installs a month, you can put yourself in a very dangerous position if you don't have that cash flow. And so it's really important that your systems are locked into place to get the glass on the roof to be able to get that payment, to be able to not only reimburse yourself, but to be able to fund the next round of installs. And that goes along with PTO as well. We want to have customers happy that they're being able to start utilizing the benefits of their system as soon as possible. But that's when the lender is also able to start charging the customers and actually make money on the amount of money that they're lending. And if that process is extended, then that also creates issues. And we're seeing more and more installers getting cut off by lenders because they're having to wait too long to get paid. So there's some turbulent waters with the financing that we're in right now. And so it's imperative that every every install company has good operations to make sure that we have speed there. And now that's all going to start, believe it or not, at the very top of the stream in sales operations. So I want to introduce our manager of sales operations. Nate Hart's with us today. If any of you guys have had the opportunity to work with Nate, you know that there is, I would say, not a better sales operations manager in solar in the United States of America. So I'm building you up here, Nate. But
Boy, are you ever.
It's all true. And I hear that, and this is the honest feedback. I get it at least once a week. I don't know how you guys found Nate, but never let that guy go. Like, Nate is just working from dusk to dawn every single day, making sure that he gets these jobs pumped through for you guys. So when you see him, make sure that you give him gratitude because he just does an awesome job. So Nate, when we talk about operations, I kind of a long intro there, but we talk about, there's so many different facets of sales operations. And, it starts with the sale itself, and then we move to site survey, we go to design, we go to permitting, we go to utilities, we go to, in there we're doing construction review and engineering and all those things. Afterwards, we're doing quality checks and we're doing, funding and finally getting it commission. All of those steps require a team to make that work. On the front end, we also have a team of people that you oversee to make sure that that intake of that account is done properly so that we can get it on that conveyor belt moving forward. As we kind of look at what is sales operations, kind of walk me through what does that entail, because it's a lot. It's not just, okay, we just process your account, we do account management. Can you kind of give me, what are your thoughts on everything that's involved in sales operations as maybe kind of a summary there?
Sure. Sales operations really starts, the heart of it starts with training, making sure that our sales reps know what they're doing, that they have the resources that they need to do them, to make sure that they're pricing things correctly, that they're selling the correct products.
You mean that reps don't do that naturally?
They take a little nudging once in a while. So training is a big thing, and we have a litany of ways that we provide that to them. But also support in the house and support during active projects is really, really important. There can be sometimes a disconnect between sales and operations in terms of what one group understands and the other doesn't. One of the things I've tried really hard to do is kind of connect those the two sides there and be the bridge in the middle so that our sales teams can understand better what our operations teams need and the challenges that they face, and vice versa. When our operations teams have challenges or have questions, my team is here to really try to bridge that gap and help both groups understand each other.
It's fantastic. We talk about developing a sales platform, and some of these things you're more involved in the other, but it's, you talked about training, right? We talked about the liaison back and forth. We talk about the technology that's required to be there, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there's area management tools. We've got our lender portals. We've got our sales submission. We've got doc signing. We've got online training. You talked about some of the training there. We're trying to build a good sales culture and a good ops culture that marry together. We have account management, new product launches, both from things that we sell as well as lender products. You talked about rep communication and support. So there's a whole lot of stuff that we've got to organize on this side of it. So let's talk about tech first. Why is tech so important to get it right? And what are some of the challenges that you've seen on the tech side of the business?
I mean, tech is where it all starts. Tech is how our sales groups interface with our platforms, with our equipment, with our lenders, with our pricing, with our teams. So it's really important that we have tech nailed down properly, that it's easy to use, easy to understand, but it also serves a wide functionality range. They need it to be able to do a lot of things. And unfortunately, that can be tough to do with tech sometimes. Tech can either be really simple and not very useful, or it can be incredibly useful and not very simple. So it's a matter of kind of trying to find that middle ground and making sure that the platforms and the technology we offer are usable and efficient.
So we've developed this sales platform or this sales portal to try and give them all the resources that they need, right? Because going into a sale, it's like you have your proposal tool, but then you've also got the need to be able to know where your account's at after you've actually submitted it. And as we brought over talent from other companies, one of the things that I constantly hear in the recruiting process is like, I never know what's going on with any of my accounts. I put it in and then I just sit there and wait for a deposit and kind of wonder if that's even correct. So what are some of the things in the sales portal that, obviously pull from our CRM? What's some of that key information you think that is that's good for a rep to be able to be able to see and notice?
The sales portal is really good at giving a bird's eye view. It's really easy to go in and see this is how many projects I have at these various stages. You can then go into the individual projects, view activity. It's a great resource for them to see where a project is at, what challenges we're facing, and also if there's an opportunity for them to help us. Also, additionally, on the tech platform, another byproduct of the sales portal is our product portal. One of the challenges that sales faces a lot is accessibility of information. So we've developed a product portal that allows everybody to see everything they need to in one space. It has all the information on all of our lenders, all of the products, all of the requirements. It has information on all of the equipment we use. It also has some training courses and some training modules in there that really help them understand some of the things that happen on the back end, electrical work, reward products, how those work. So there's a lot of information in there really to help the sales teams sell efficiently and to not stumble around in the dark.
And there is a lot of stuff in there, right? And if I'm a sales rep, it's like, I don't want to go look through there and find this stuff, but it is all there, which is really nice. If a rep is rushed and they need answers now and they don't have time to go through the portal, what are some of the other things that we've provided for them to be able to get quick answers?
Well, it's very important for reps to have a resource to talk to somebody. So we have two different resources that we've developed. We have a rapid response text line. Reps can text into this. There are 11 or 12 people, including all the members of my team, that receive these. And these are for when reps are in a house and something isn't working, where they need some information that they can't get. And our average response time on those texts is typically under 1 minute. We also recently launched a sales support text line that reps can text into with more general inquiries. If they have questions about batteries or panels or where a project's at or a redesign or a customer called in and had a question, they can relay all of that information to me and my team through that line as well.
It's awesome. Okay, let's talk about process a little bit here. When you look at somebody that's running a 100-meter sprint, usually the guy that's fastest off the blocks has the best chance of winning that race. What do we try to do to ensure the fastest possible start to the race, meaning from sale to install?
Sure. Technology is obviously important there. Support is obviously really important there. Accessibility to human beings is very important there. But we have also streamlined the process. We don't want to make any extra steps that we don't need. So right now, our average time from the moment a deal is submitted as sold to the moment it's been submitted to payroll is currently about 1.5 hours. And that's due to my team. I have a dedicated member of my team that does nothing but sit and looks at deals, and she's phenomenal at it.
So what's she doing? What's she looking for?
Her job is probably one of the more important and undervalued ones.
Leanne is an unsung hero.
She is. She is looking at finance, making sure that all the numbers match, addresses match, prices match. She's making sure that the project is within lender qualifications. We don't want a project getting down the road only to have a lender tell us, oh, we don't want this. So she's looking at that. She's making sure that we have all of the documentation we need. One of the things that we've done, and one of the reasons we are so fast, is we try to get everything we need ahead of time. We don't want to have to reach out to a homeowner at permitting to sign another document, to sign a utility document, to apply for this, to do that. So we get all that at point of sale. And she's checking to make sure that we have all of that. Once we get that ball rolling, we want that momentum to carry that job all the way through to install with no delays. So she's ensuring that we have all that material, that we have a correct utility bill. She's ensuring that design has a layout. If the sales rep has sat in a home and talked with a homeowner about what they want, we want to make sure our engineering team understands what that is. So that's what she's doing. She's ensuring that a project, when it enters our pipeline, is clear all the way to the end.
It's all clean so that there's nothing to brush off later on, right?
Correct.
So between sales submittal and then site survey scheduled, what's our time on that right now? I know this is something that you guys just hound on. So
Yep. That's actually an improvement we've made that we're really proud of. This is another part where technology comes into play. We have some really good routing software, and I have a couple members on my team that are really, really good at making sure these get done. So from the moment a job is submitted to payroll to the moment we have a site survey tech on the roof is on average about 1.8 days.
It's awesome.
Which is phenomenal.
Super fast. And that gets into the next stage, all that much faster. So we focus on a wide variety of products, both from an equipment standpoint as well as lenders, right? We're always looking at new banks that we work with for our sales reps and our sales partners. When we're dealing with 9 different banks, they all have different processes. Why in the world do we go to the headache to have so many different lenders in our arsenal?
That's a great question. Every lender is very different. They all have different requirements. Onboarding them, maintaining them, ensuring that everything we do with them is within their constraints.
Understanding their different requirements, what they're going to lend on, what kind of price they're getting, or what kind of house they're going to lend on, what their limits are, what kind of docs are required. I mean, everybody is so different.
Yep. But part of the main reason why we go through that headache and why I'm okay with the struggle is we want to make sure our sales team have options. The last thing I want to do is send a sales rep into a house and have a bank decline them and for them to have to walk out the door. So not only does that allow a sales rep additional opportunities, but there are some lenders that are better for some things than others. And we want to make sure that the sales team, as well as the customer, as well as Fusion, is getting the best that we can out of a project. So,
and I love that. When we started the company and we had 2 or 3, and then we went to 3 or 4. I remember, account management was like, are we really going to keep adding? This is really complicated to do. But it's like, from a sales perspective, and that's my background, I'm like, I got to make sure that my guys have every opportunity to sell. And whether that be because of a credit limitation or a house type or a debt to income or a EPC cap or whatever it is, like, we would just want to have as many possible chances for our reps and our partners to be able to close that deal as possible. So you guys have done a fantastic job juggling all those and making sure that they all work. What are the steps that we take to try and to try and ensure smooth launches and adoption and execution of these products?
One of the most important things on a new launch is preparation. Not only for our operations team, but also for our sales teams. We don't want to launch a product that nobody understands. Then you end up with a lot of mistakes. We spend a lot of time cleaning them up. So one of the most important things me and my department do when we're getting ready to launch new lenders or new products is we make the rounds. We talk to sales, we talk to operations, we talk to accounting, we talk to design. We make sure that whatever the product is we're about to launch, that we have a full swath of information about how that's going to impact our business and how it's going to impact the sales force. And that is then compiled into various methods, various training, and various resources that people can then reference. So by the time we are ready, and by the time I stand up and say, hey, guess what? Great news, we're launching a new bank. Every sales member is able to instantly see what's required for that. Operations and account management is prepared for that launch, so they know what the requirements are going to be, so there's no funding delays. Install and design are aware of that as well. So that's the main key to proper product launches, is just preparation.
And let's talk about not only lender products, but other services that we provide, right? Traditionally, we've done solar, and we've recently got into some other products that we refer to as reward products. Talk about some of these reward products and how kind of scope of what we're looking to do here.
Yeah. We're really proud of these and really excited about these products. We do insulation in-house. We do AeroSeal in-house. We also have HVAC efficiency chips that we do. We do EV chargers, energy monitoring. We have a wide array of these products that are not traditional to the solar process. So incorporating them can sometimes be a challenge. Training on them can sometimes be a challenge. And incorporating them as far as the lenders and the contracts go can sometimes as well be a challenge. But we've done a great job getting it off the ground. It's been a very, very popular adoption, and we're excited to see how it goes.
And why do you think that adoption has been so popular? What have we seen with pull-through on the accounts that have added these other services?
We've seen that cancellation rates on accounts with these reward products added is drastically lower than cancel rates across the company and the rest of the business. These reward products are done quickly. So typically, one of our most popular reward products, our insulation product, is done within 48 hours of time of sale. And that really adds some stickiness to the account. Plus, in addition to our site survey tech getting on the roof, it's one of our first touch points on a project. And it's very important that homeowners get some immediate sense of progress. So that's really helped as well.
Perfect. Yeah, we're really excited about these. And then also to add to that list is now roofing, right?
Roofing.
Really excited to be able to launch our roofing division. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about rep communication, because this is so big, right? And I'm sure that this is added. You don't have a whole lot of gray hair yet, but I'm sure that this is going to contribute to your gray hair in the future, because you spend the majority of your time working and serving our reps and our teams. Tell me why rep support is so important, and what have you tried to develop with yourself and with your team to be able to make sure that you're giving them the utmost delight, as they reach out to get answers to their questions?
Well, in this environment, reps have choices. They don't have to come here. They don't have to stay here. One of the ways we differentiate ourselves is how helpful we can be and how quickly we can help you. The feedback that I get a lot is that one of the things that really endears people to Fusion Power is the amount of assistance and the amount of respect and patience and tolerance and help that they get along the road. Availability is really important. I know that at times I wish I wasn't, but I'm typically available for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And that's important because sales reps don't stop selling deals at 9 o'clock. And if they have a problem, somebody needs to help them. So rep communication is crucial. And me and the rest of my team have done a really good job improving the variety of problems and situations we can handle and resolve, the breadth of knowledge at which they have access to and which they can communicate to the sales force. And it also helps our reps feel like part of the family, which they are, when they can call me at 8 o'clock at night to talk about something. So the availability of help like that is really, really crucial.
And that goes right into the company core values, right? With family first, and then just add value, being able to be able to help them with that. Okay, so here's an opportunity for you to gripe if you feel like you need to. Tell me some of the biggest challenges that you face with our sales side of the business as you interface and try to take their hard work, right? We recognize all of the sweat, and tears that go into getting these deals that at times can be somewhat challenging. How do we get that from the rep through operations? What are some of the biggest challenges that you deal with on the sales side?
There's a couple main ones, and a lot of them I understand. A lot of times when reps want problems resolved, they want them resolved right now. A lot of times we can do that. Sometimes we can't. So sometimes we need to implore people to show us a little bit of patience while we resolve some issues. Sometimes we may not have the information they need at hand, and we have to go and source it. So that's one challenge we face. Another one is, again, and this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, is sometimes one side doesn't necessarily understand what the other side has to do. So what may seem to sales like a simple operations thing, or what may seem to operations like a simple sales thing, isn't always the case. So helping both sides understand where the other is coming from is really important. And that's a challenge, but it's also a privilege to get to deal with that.
Well, and I think one of the things that I love is the open door policy that you guys have, because I've noticed that there's several reps, both in and out of the company with our partners, that will come in and you'll make time to sit down with them and help them understand, look, I get that it seems like a simple installation. We put glass on a roof and it creates a current to provide energy for the customer. But you need to understand that on a manufactured home that's out in the boonies that has a removed pedestal 100 yards off of the house is going to require trenching. It's going to require a new H-frame. It's going to require an MPU. The structure on that house is a 2x4 construction, so it can only have so much weight, right? So anyway, we go through all of these things just to try and educate and help people understand some of the limitations and maybe some of the causes for delay as we go back and forth with design or whatever the case may be. But anyway, I've always appreciated the fact that you and your team take that time to help people understand, because I think number one, it doesn't go unnoticed, but I think it's just so important for the experience of that rep.
I agree. And that's one thing that's been very important to the creation of this team is that open door policy. I have the meetings that I have to attend where I might not be available, but any other time of day, you can walk into this office, you can pull up a chair, and you can talk to me about something. You can talk to any member of my team about something if you need to. I'm also available on the phone, like I said, 12 hours a day. So is the rest of my team. We don't set appointments because we respect the fact that the outside environment may not always be indicative. It may not always allow you to do that. So the open door policy has been very important to this team and also to the feedback that we get from outside sales force.
So Nate, what are some of the initiatives that you guys are taking right now?
Well, we're seeing a huge uptick in the market recently with batteries. And batteries are not a simple piece of equipment. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of process that goes behind what battery do you sell, why do you sell it, how do you size it, how do you price it. So one of the initiatives we're taking right now is, again, to help bridge that gap between sales and operations. So we're developing an intake form for batteries for sales reps and homeowners to discuss while they're in the house. And that's to ensure that when the project gets to our engineering team, that engineering knows what the homeowner wants, and they know how to complete it. The sales rep knows what engineering is going to come out with. So it avoids a lot of back and forth and a lot of delays.
Well, and it'll align everybody's expectations, right? Because sometimes a rep will say what a battery's capable of, but maybe design the system such that it is not capable of what they said it could do. So I think it's really important that it helps align, and this goes back to training as well, but it allows us to be able to give proper expectations to the customer. I mean, we had a cancel this morning where a customer said, "No, wait a second, I'm not fully off grid. He gave me batteries. I thought I was supposed to be fully off grid." It's like, well, you have backup if the grid goes down, in which case you're technically off grid, but we're not removing you from SRP. And so sometimes there's just kind of those miscommunications that I think what you're talking about is going to help solve some of those things.
Yeah, it will absolutely help solve a lot of those and streamline that process. One of the other things we're putting a lot of effort into, which we're super excited about, is we want to give people the opportunity to not just sell solar anymore. If you go into a house and maybe the presentation doesn't work out and the people don't end up wanting to buy solar, we want to give you the opportunity to still sell them a product. So we have these various reward products that we talked about. We're also really excited about being able to offer standalone roofs. There are some challenges that come with that. The platform with which to do that needs to be different than the platform with which you submit solar deals, because the information and the requirements are different. So we're building out that platform. We're building out a lot of automations to allow reps to properly price it, to see what financing options there are, because the financing options for home improvement are not the same as solar. Mm-hmm. And we want to be able to present that information to them in a way that they understand. We want them to be able to price it correctly, to be able to send paperwork. And then we want to be able to automate the processes on our side to get those projects to the departments where they need to go.
Love it. Love it. A lot of good stuff happening at Solar, at Fusion Power, in our solar division and in our home service products. Let me give you one more question here. How do you and your team try to focus on our company core values of family first, add value, and tenacious grit?
It's one of the most important things we can do. We are a family here, and me and my team choose to represent that by being available, by treating everybody like we would want to be treated, by being responsive, by being helpful, by being patient. We also want to make sure that at the end of the day, we as a team, what we contribute to this process is more than the sum of its parts. We want to make sure that the processes we put in place, that the checks that we do, that the help we provide adds value. We want to make sure that it's not just us participating in a process, but adding to it. And also, tenacious grit is inevitable in a department like this. You do not have a department like this unless you have people on it that just exhibit this on a daily basis. You don't get much rest. You don't get much downtime. It is go, go, go. And you go till the job is done. And every time you finish one job, there's another to do. And we consistently are finding ways to create more opportunities for us to contribute value.
Well, Nate, I love to see what you've done with your team in developing these other people, the growth that you've made in your position over the last year and a half, I guess, is, mm-hmm. It's just been awesome to see. I'm very, very proud of you. I'm very proud of your team. Speaking for all of Fusion and everybody in our umbrella, many thanks, sir. You do just a fantastic job. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you for having me, Jared.
Appreciate you being on the podcast today. As you listen to, again, one of the greatest managers of sales operations in the game, I hope that there's a couple things that you can glean and understand the importance, the thought, and the precision that goes behind everything that we try to execute here for everybody at Fusion Power. We'd love to see you around the office. If you ever have any questions, come and visit Nate and his team, and we will see you next time on the Fusion Power Podcast. Thanks for listening.